A lot of big-time analysts have turned super bearish lately, and they argue that the worst is yet to come. Like we're gonna have a dead cat bounce and then we're headed lower. Or that we've already entered a 1-year bear market. But either way, if that turns out to be true, then that means that our beloved altcoins are going much lower and may give us a generational entry in the coming months. That's why in this video, I want to plan ahead and discuss which altcoins I'd buy if we get a big crash. I'll share 10 in particular, my thesis for each one, some risks as well, and specific price targets based on the charts. Okay, so my very first one has got to be Hyperliquid's Hype. And the thesis behind this is simple, right? They have an amazing revenue generation engine and token buybacks. Like they literally started the revenue meta in my eyes. And they've bought back like so many tokens off the open market. It's literally like unbeatable when it comes to crypto token buybacks. Now, in terms of risks, there are some though. For example, there's a lot of competition from the biggest CeFi players like Coinbase, Robinhood. Everyone wants to offer perps. And then the second thing is that there's a lot of uncertainty about their massive token unlocks. And there's been a lot of discussion lately, like, are they gonna sell? What are they gonna do with it? Etc, etc. So ideally that can be resolved in a smooth manner and they can get back to building and people can stay bullish. Now, in terms of price targets, I'm looking for something in like the low 20s range, like maybe around $24. I think that would be a great entry for Hype. But anyhow, my second coin is none other than Binance's BNB. And the thesis here is also simple. I mean, CZ is like the mafia boss of crypto. And I know this is kind of a joke, but people say he's so great at crime. Like he got a pardon and now he's free to like just throw the weight of Binance around the crypto space, you know, like manipulate whatever they want, win whatever they want, things like that. And BNB has been doing outstanding through most of this year. Now, the only risk I'll share here is that October 10th, remember that huge flash crash? That maybe caused some skeletons to happen behind the scenes that we haven't heard of yet, but that was directly related to things that happened within Binance, like things that depegged and then they gave their compensation, but it really wasn't that much compensation compared to the amount that was liquidated on their exchange. So point is, we don't know if there's gonna be some lawsuits or whatever other thing that they have to shore up, like a hole, for example. But anyhow, in terms of price targets, I think anywhere like from 600 all the way to 700 would be a great buy range for BNB. Now, next up is one that I'm super excited about, and that's none other than Zcash, or ticker symbol ZEC. And my thesis for that is basically that Zcash is like the private version of Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin did a lot of great things for us. It was sound money. It was basically something that the government can't print. But one thing that it's always struggled with was privacy. Like even Satoshi himself talked about it. So Zcash is a solution to that. And I think that it could be a big part of the future of crypto. Now, in terms of risks, honestly, like I just really believe that Zcash has so much fundamentals behind it, but I'm still a little bit worried that this was just another late cycle pump and dump. Because if you zoom out in Zcash's chart, you see that they've done these huge pumps and then crashed and then just stayed low for a long time, right? That's happened multiple times in the past. So I don't know what's going on. I don't have that much insight into like if there's a cabal behind Zcash or things like that. But if not, then I would really want it to be a big part of my portfolio, especially if it hits my price targets of somewhere between like 320 to 400. I think those could be decent buy zones for Zcash, especially after a big crash, which is like the title of my video. Now, next up, my fourth pick is none other than Arrow by Aerodrome Finance. My thesis for this one is simple. It is the liquidity hub for Base, and it's like super Base native. just, it supports everything in the Base ecosystem, right? And also like Coinbase has their DEX trading features. So like any token that's launched on Arrow can be accessed through Coinbase itself. And yeah, I mean, I think Arrow is just a huge part of the future of Base. Now, the only risk I can really think of is that if Base kind of flops or there's no really strong or sustained Base season in the future, in which case Arrow could do okay, but it wouldn't do as well, of course. Now, in terms of price targets, I think a really juicy price is 50 cents. If we can get down there, I'd be scooping up Arrow like crazy. Now, my next one for number 5 is also a sleeper pick in the Base ecosystem. But before we get there, I gotta share with you that 3 Black Friday sale is officially live. Folks, this is your chance to lock in one of the best crypto trading bots out there for the lowest price of the year. I mean, if you've watched my content in the past, then you know that I'm a huge fan of their bots and they've been our channel partner for a long time. But anyways, as part of this limited time deal, they're offering 54% off their expert plan, 40% off their pro plan, and 38% off their starter plan. So there's massive savings. And if you are an existing user, then you get even higher discounts than what I just listed. Also, one big reason why you should sign up now is because all of their plans comes with their brand new AI assistant tool. With that tool, you can just type in the strategy or goal that you want to implement, and their AI helps you build and backtest a strategy, and then you can just launch it with the click of a button. So that's super clutch, and I can't wait to try it out myself. If you want to try it out as well, just use my link below. All right, back to my altcoin picks after a big crash. And number 5 has got to be Edge by Definitive. Now, my thesis here is just that they really have great like usage, adoption, and growth numbers, and their team is super fast at building and shipping, you know? So I think they're just gonna continue to like expand their tentacles across the entire multi-chain world and just get more and more volume and adoption on their platform. Now, the only risk that I'll point out here is that I'd like to see them generate a little bit more strong demand for their token, or like generate some sort of premium for it, right? Because their token does have utility. If you hold it, you get cheaper fees, but I'd like to see more in terms of integrating their token in and around their system. Now, in terms of target, I'll just say 8 cents would be a super juicy target for me to buy a bunch there. Now, number 6 has got to be BitTensor Tau. And the reason why I like it is because their halving is coming up real soon in December. Like, their tokenomics are similar to Bitcoin's, if you don't remember. And they have built a huge AI ecosystem that are building in and around their subnets and things like that, right? So like, I've long said that BitTensor is one of the more solid AI crypto projects, whereas I don't really like a lot of the other ones because I don't think they have as much fundamental value or fundamental need per se. Now, in terms of risks, I think they obviously need a lot more banger projects that get a lot of adoption and usage to build like a subnet or build in their ecosystem, right? They need more. They have some okay ones, but they need a lot more. And another risk is that if the AI crypto hype never really comes back to the crypto world, then they won't really get that speculative demand or speculative premium again. And they'd have to only do the hard work in terms of fundamental demand. But anyhow, in terms of target, I would love to buy some Tau around 170 to 210. I think those would be a great price levels if we can get down there. Now, number 7 is a meme coin, and you might be surprised I have meme coins on this list because I'm usually not that big a fan of meme coins, but this one is special. It's none other than SPX 6900. And the reason why I like it is because of one man alone, Murad Mammadov. And he's just a really big evangelist of this whole meme coin super cycle and his whole cult coin thesis, right? So I honestly see a lot of truth in his thesis, and he's really good at spreading the word and building a movement. So this would be a bet on him. Now, in terms of risks, I mean, I do like Murad's efforts and I do like their organic kind of cult building, but it is kind of a weird meme if you think about it. Like, it doesn't really resonate as well as like Doge, a cute dog, or like Fartcoin even, right? So the risk is that other memes or cults kind of piggyback off of his thesis, but do it even better. And also another risk is that Murad kind of just publicly sells, but I don't get the sense that he's gonna do that just because he's kind of digging in and just all in with this particular cult that he's made his own. Now, in terms of price targets, I would love to buy some around the 25 cents to 38 cents level. I mean, SPX has already dropped quite a bit, but these would be like generational entries that I'm talking about. Now, number 8 is kind of a meme, but also kind of not. It's Pengu by Pudgy Penguins. And the reason why is because I think this is like one of the most solid projects to ever come out of the NFT space. And Luca Netz is a brilliant builder, and this is kind of like a bet on him. And also they have yet to really get the full potential out of Abstract, right? So that's still really on the up and up, and Pengu may benefit from that. Now, the risk here, the main one that I see is that it's just too saturated of a space, right? For like Abstract, for example, it's really unable to stand out, and it kind of falls the same fate as the other projects that kind of just faded away, like Barachain, for example. If that's the case, that would be quite the big risk. So maybe I wouldn't size in as much into Pengu, but my target for this is 0.006 based on the charts. Now, the next one, number 9 on my list, is Retail by Retail DAO. Now, this is our personal coin or token, but it's basically a bet on our unique coordination thesis and how early we are as a project, right? Because we're like way smaller than all these other ones listed so far. And I'm not going to just like drone on and on about what retail is. If you're curious, you can check out the link in the description, our website. But in terms of risks, obviously we're super early, so there's a lot of like execution risk, things that could go wrong. And also there's been a big whale that bought a ton of retail lately. Like, we're at the mercy that he could just dump it all if he decides to, right? But I think overall, I would recommend you not to treat this as a speculative bet, but instead use it to join our token gated community and like coordinate with us, because our thesis is simple. And that's when retail works together, when we coordinate, we can build a sustained edge and win together. Like, if you buy that thesis, then you should buy retail and join us. Now, in terms of price targets, like I said, I don't really have that for you. I would just buy some now just for the utility basis, not to speculate on it. But if you want a price target, then I would say 0.0008, because that's kind of like around where the whale started buying, and we don't know what they're gonna do, right? We don't know their intentions. But anyhow, number 10 is a little bit of a cop-out because it's not just one project. Instead, I'm gonna say that I would target one of the above, and that is Monad, Mega ETH, or Base. Like, whichever one of these hot L1, L2s can come out and become the next Sui or even the next Solana, right? I would pick one of these 3, and the one that you like the most based on your own research, and ride the fastest horse, you know? Now, in terms of risks, I think the main one is just that like people are just so tired of all these L1 and L2 blockchains coming out, and a lot of them have done terribly like over the past couple of years, like Eclipse, Blast, Barachain. You can go on and on. They're all just like ghost chains at these days with like zero adoption, and people are just like, the chart looks ugly and VCs have just extracted, right? So that is simply the risk for any of these. I'm not trying to single out these 3, you know, but that's the ground truth. And in terms of price targets, I don't really have any for you because Mega ETH and Base haven't launched yet, and Monad just launched like a couple days ago. But anyhow, those are my picks. What about yours though? Is there anything that I missed that's a must add in your opinion? If so, just let me know down in the comments below, as well as your thesis behind it, because I want to hear that. Also, even if the bear market is really here, you definitely should not leave and tune out, because there are still opportunities and potential for gains. After all, you might have heard of the popular saying that bull markets make you money, but bear markets make you rich. That's why now's the time to level up your skills and go hunting for opportunities. And I mean, sure, you can go it alone, but if you want to work with a group of like-minded people, then you gotta join us over at Retail DAO. We're probably the only investing-related group that's still more active than ever before. And the reason why is because of our unique thesis. You see, we're not just one guru that's feeding you signals and telling you what to buy. No, we're a group of active and serious retail investors who believe that when we work together, we can build a sustained edge and win in this difficult market. So if any of that resonates with you, then just check out my link below.